Man, 27 months. Me too. I'm surprised I've gone this long. I love this song. What's going on, everyone? I know this is a surprise stream. I didn't really announce anything for this one anywhere. Just kind of looked at the clock, realized I had some time. I just finished up playing in my my weekly Tuesday Mutants and Masterminds game with a group of buddies of mine. So again, realized I had a little bit of time, and I've been thinking about doing this stream for a short while. If you read the title, I apologize. I gotta blow my nose. Oof. Oh my god. Oh, I think I lost some brain cells with that one. So yeah. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this stream for a little while since I have made my DM screen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. It's fine that you don't, go to the Discord at kelscorner.com and, look at the DM screen tab there. It's okay. I don't blame you. Also, I just have bonus reaction up on the screen, so that's a thing. This face. I was gonna watch this video in a little bit. I just forgot that I had it up, so I'm gonna pop that out of the way. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about my digital DM screen that I threw together with the help of ChatGPT. So will this be some sort of tutorial or walkthrough? I don't necessarily know if I could say this is going to be like either. I guess if anything, you could say both. I'm going to go through kind of everything, and just to give you a little bit of hey, what is this tool? And, if maybe you need to, if you want like a bit of an explanation, a bit of a walkthrough, maybe this might help you. I had these tiny mics whenever I see someone holding a stick. Oh god, where is it? Hold on. Nope, that's a box cutter. Nope, that's not it. Somewhere. Freaking my dog out. He's like, what are you doing? I can't even find it. I don't know where it is. I was trying to be shitty. I have one of those little tiny mics, like the lapel mic. They're great. The problem is that because they're USB-C for the receiver, I can't use them because my computer, even though my computer case has a USB-C port, my motherboard does not. So I don't have, I literally don't have the connection to wire it. It would be nice if I did. I could actually use a wireless mic. I could use the little lapel mic, but honestly, I prefer this anyway. I prefer my HyperX, because I like the native pass through on it. That was a good cough reaction there, just like. But yeah. So as I was saying, this is kind of going to be a little bit of a little bit of a walkthrough, a little bit of a guide to my DM screen, because since I put up the last video, since I did a stream on it, a lot has changed. And I mean, a considerable amount. If I'm not mistaken, I legitimately think I think the last time that I streamed with this, I had like version, it was like maybe 1.4 or something like that. Hold on, let me see. I'm actually really curious just myself now, because it has been a while since I've updated this. Okay. Okay, so this would have been on the 22nd. So this would have been like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. When was my last stream? I think that's like, when was my last D&D&Chill? That was on the 24th. Okay. So yes. Okay, so there it is. It was version 1.6. Oh my god. Welcome back, Aaron. Hey, pal. Okay, so if you want to see the difference between 1.6, which would have been the version after my last live stream, this was it. Now, as you can see, okay, buddy, you have a good night. Oh wait, I can actually load these into the same window. No, I can't. Yes, I can. So the problem, one of the problems is that for some reason, it looks different if I open up like the native HTML in Chrome standard versus incognito. I don't know why. I haven't figured that out. So I have to open it in incognito in order to have it look right. This would have been the last time you guys would have seen this, which arguably this does still work, but is very different than what it is now. Okay. So in this version, there is the ability to open up the tabs, but as you can see, oh no, that is still persisting. So one of the things that I have changed is you can't do anything with these tabs at the top. Like, you can delete them. If you want to move these tokens or the characters on the left, then you have to use these arrows. Creating custom columns, like once you make it, you can edit it and you can delete it, but you can't do anything with these. Like, you can get rid of them, you can toggle them, but you can't toggle this new column. So if you don't want to see it, you just have to delete it. Also, if you actually go through the process of like adding characters, which also in this version, you could not edit these chips. So, there was like, you could edit the numbers in them, but you couldn't actually edit where it says dex, strength, con, and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of changes. And again, this is version 1.6. I am currently on version 1.18. So I am not going to go through all 12 versions. Okay. I don't think there were so many small iterative changes along the way, that I just don't necessarily know if I could remember everything. But if I'm not mistaken, I think I do have, some of the version updates on Discord, so I can at least load those ones up so you guys can see. So yeah, so here, this was version 1.9. This added the save layout, load layout buttons. So if you actually added your own blank characters, you could save this as a local JSON file and then upload it later, or you could like go to another device even and load it. So it was a little bit more friendly for like non D&D or non D&D Beyond users as well. Version 11 added the fact that you could like color code your tabs and stuff. This is more just, you know, UI than anything else. Additionally, you could also drag the tabs around. So if you wanted to reorder stuff for some reason, you had that option. You can also double tap the tabs and rename them in this one. And then I know for a fact that the current one actually has all the updates available. So we can actually just pull that up in the main window. So yeah, there's a lot of changes, as you can see, from version 12 and beyond is in here. If you want to check this out, there is the link for that. You can also find it at kelpscorner.com. But I just want to kind of give, you know, folks like a rundown more of what this is, what you can do with it, how I intend on using it, and some of the issues that I have actually had some folks run into with it that I had to figure out. So when you go to Kelf's DM screen.netlify.app, if I actually ever care to get the .com, I will, but I'm not paying for it. But if you go to the link, and again, you can go to kelpscorner.com, and if you go there, it's literally the second link, Kelp's DM screen. Yeah, that'll take you right to it. So when you get here, you're going to arrive at the main splash screen, the welcome screen. You're going to have the UI at the very top. I'm going to zoom in on this just so it's a little bit easier to take in. So you have the main UI at the top, just a little title, the uploads, the general, you know, user interface. And then we have the party preview on the side, the party overview. And then we have the right panel, which right now it's just in the about/help page. So if you are a D&D Beyond user and you want to utilize this for your campaigns, all you need to do is click the link here to go to play5e.online, and then you'll need to open up at least one of the characters from your D&D campaign. Okay, so we're gonna snag Alwyn here. He is the paladin for my Golden Showers campaign. And in play5e.online, you're gonna paste that URL. You're going to click the button that says all characters that share the same campaign, and then you're going to hit convert. This can take a minute depending on how many characters are in it. This campaign has 6 characters, so it does take, you know, it takes about a minute or so. But eventually, it will give us a .compendium file. There it is. So we now have a DDB XML .compendium file. That's what we want. And that's what this is telling you. Go to play5e.online, copy the URL for one of your characters, paste it into the text field, select characters that share the same campaign, don't check any of the other options, and then click convert, and then come back here, click choose file, and in here, you're going to find that DDB XML.compendium file. And then you're going to click load characters. Now, I already had this saved because this is my preferred layout, okay? If you ever mess something up when you are uploading your characters, maybe you delete one of the columns and you didn't mean to, maybe you accidentally delete a character. All you have to do is reload the page, click reset saved loadout. This completely refreshes any saved information. Now, when we come to load this compendium, you're going to see there's no colors associated with them. There's no added details. Everything is a clean slate right here. Additionally, let's reset this. If for some reason when you go to do this, if not all of your characters load, okay, this became an issue tonight. One of the users for this actually got a hold of me and told me about a situation. So when you load theirs, these are their characters. But if we go into here, you can see there are 7 characters it's supposed to load, and it's only loading 5. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you why Play5e.online isn't exporting them as part of the same campaign. I did check. They were set. They didn't have their privacy set to public, which I have a note here that if the character is set to campaign only or private, or if the person's account is set to private, you may not be able to access that information, and Play5e may not be able to get that. But you are able to go into each individual character as long as the character sheet is public, and you can export them individually by choosing only this character. Then you can go in here and you can load as many as it can from the big campaign, but then you can go back in and load additional characters in. Now, I will admit, right now, it is still non-functioning for one specific feature. That is that if you load a group and then individual characters, it is only going to be the last upload that has the character sheets associated with them. I have not figured out how to fix that just yet, but if you go in, I have set it up to where you can upload multiple compendium or XML files at once, and you'll see this will say 3 files or however many files, okay? And this will upload each one with all of their character sheets. So if for some reason you have an issue with like one or multiple characters not showing up, you can export them all individually as their own compendium or XML files, and you can load them all in at the same time. And that is a note right here that if they fail to generate, make sure that their privacy is set correctly. If this does not resolve it, export them individually and load multiple files at once. Just so everybody is, everyone's aware of what we have going on out there. All right, so back to my group. As you can see, some of the things have changed from the last update. Now, in here, we have continued having the fact that you can drag tokens around. This also does work on iPad. So if you're using an iPad or a touchscreen device, you can move these with the touch interface. You can also move the characters on the left the same way. You can just drag them around as you see fit. So if you want to utilize this as a very fast, quick use to like track initiative just for the players, that is something that you can do. If they're rolling and, Bridget rolls high and, Smith rolls low and, Ari's, going after Nim and stuff like that, then you can adjust those as you see fit, as you're playing. So that is an option. You can also delete them if you have to. Additionally, you can also move the columns at the top around. You can also still continue to toggle their visibility. There is a new feature now. So if you go in and you create your own column, so let's just say for some reason you want to track their proficiency bonus. So we can type in prof here. It creates a new column. And let's also say that you want to track their, I don't know, let's just say Arcana for some reason. I don't know why you would track their Arcana, but maybe you care about that. And let's just also say you want to track Hell, this is actually maybe a good one. Let's just say you want to check if they have inspiration. Okay, so now that we have this, all of the characters are going to have a +4 to proficiency. So we can just hit, in here, we can hit +4, and we can copy and paste that, going the whole way down the list. Arcana, we can go in and, okay, so Alwyn has a +1. Ari has a +4. Hey, good for Ari. Bridget O'Sullivan has +2 and has advantage. So I'm actually going to put a little A next to that. Smith here has a 0. Nim has a +2. And the Barbarian Zor has a 0 as well. All right, as for inspiration, I don't believe anybody does. Oh, no, Smith does. Okay, so in Smith's, I can actually just put a little X, and that means that he does. Okay, so let's just say I have these, and I don't really need to see Arcana, for a little while. So I can just toggle that off now. That is a feature. Any column that you create will create a toggle at the bottom. If you delete these columns, they will delete the toggle as well. You can also reorganize these as you see fit. I have yet to resolve the ability to reorganize amongst preset toggles and custom ones. That is something that I do plan on trying to update in the future, because right now I can move proficiency, inspiration, and arcana around, but I cannot move like immunity down further, which I could understand if somebody would want to. That is a plan for the future. But I'm going to go ahead and delete these because I do not need to know proficiency. I do not need to know inspiration, nor do I need to know arcana, but I do like to know speed, passive perception, spell save, and senses. This is my preference. Also, some stuff just doesn't always show up just because of the way that it parses information. And I know for a fact that Alwyn here has blind sight out to 10 feet. So we can update that. And I also changed this to where it puts them on multiple lines. Additionally, you'll notice that underneath each character, you have these ability chips. You can go through these now and rename any of their stats. This is more helpful if you are using this for a non-D&D Beyond or non-D&D character. In case, for example, you are playing something like Mutants and Masterminds. If we go into our downloads here, shut up, Forlorn Punk F. So this is my Mutants and Mastermind character. And as you can see, when you load up a new character, you can link any URL or image file or PDF to their page so that when you click back to other characters, this is what you will come up to if you want to have this accessible in the sheet. But as you can see, Mutants and Masterminds, each character has 8 statistics instead of the normal 6. So we have Strength, which he has a 0 in. We have Agility, which he has a 2. We have Fighting, so I'm just going to put FIT. I will just do that. We'll just do that. 0. And we have Awareness, which he has a 2. We have Stamina, which is a 1. We got Dex, which is a 3. We have Intellect, which is a 1. And we have Presence, which is a 3. So we can actually get rid of this last one because we do not need that stat. And if, for example, you were utilizing this for, your character in here, we can put Brian, and he is a, I don't know what level we are. I know like we're power rank 5, so I guess that would probably be it. So I can do PL 5. He is a human. He is a human, and he is a magician. So there we go. He is a power level 5 human magician. And in here, obviously, he doesn't have armor class. He doesn't really have hit points in the same capacity. So I could make whatever options I wanted to track. Maybe if I wanted to have a tab that would track how many bruises they have or what kind of damage they have taken, you can just create, like a damage tab for each character. And then in here, you could put, 1 days and, or you can put in here bruises and dazed, staggered, and in cap. And then you could put, like an X next to these if they are, it's really up to you as the user to decide how you want to utilize this, in your own capacity. So you could copy this into all those, utilize it if you wanted to check their dodge, if you wanted to have access to some of their ability scores or their skills, you could make that their own column. Some small UI changes that we've done. As I mentioned, we do have these colored tabs here. So these actually link up on the left-hand side of the screen. So if you are like me, I know this was a feature that Stacy requested, but I definitely utilize this in my own mind. I sort of always have a color associated with each character. And in a way, that's how I sort of remember them in my own mind at a quick glance. So in my game, Alwyn is a paladin. He's gold. Ari is a warlock, so they are red, because I think of that as more like pure arcana. Bridget is a ranger and has a pet kitsune fox. So we got orange. Smith is a lizard folk nature druid, so he is green. Nim's character, as you can see, here we go. As you can see in the art there, has pink hair, and I will always remember that aspect of her. So she is pink, and Zor is a lightning-based blue dragonborn barbarian, so they are blue. Additionally, you can utilize this to open up any, let me rephrase that, most websites that you might want to utilize. Now, one of the websites that I use, a lot of, is a website called 5e.tools. If you have followed my channel for any amount of time, you know this website. So if you click in the upper right-hand corner here, there's a little plus icon. You can click that. It brings you up to a blank tab. You can paste the URL in there and hit load. That'll bring you up to this page. If you, additionally, maybe you want to load a PDF. Maybe you are running something from the wonderful book known as Mini Dungeon Tome. Well, it's as simple as opening up a new tab, clicking upload file, finding the PDF you want, and then bam, there it is. You can also change it to the 2-page view, which is personally what I prefer, just because, Mini Dungeon Tome is designed to be used as a 2-page layout. You can also double tap these tabs at the top, and you can change the name of them if they are too long. This was a comment made by Stacy that PDFs have super long names sometimes, so you can change them to whatever you want. I always think of Magic Dungeon Tome as MDD2, so we can change it to that. But there's plenty of other websites and resources out there that you might want to have available to you. I know personally, I love having the thievesguild.cc at my fingertips, which luckily is a website that works on here. Unfortunately, you will find there are some websites that do not work on this. For example, Google does not work, okay? It has something to do with how, like, the security of a website, I think it's whether it's based in HTTP or HTTPS. There's something about like certain websites not wanting to be embedded into HTML using iframe. And I don't know enough about it to like give a proper answer. All I know is that every effort I have made to circumvent that has basically been returned to like, hey, they don't want you doing this, so you can't. Unfortunately, I don't have a great workaround. The only thing that I can recommend is that if you attempt to load something that doesn't want to load, all you have to do is click the button in the top right that says open in new tab, and it'll just open it for you. There's no harm in having another real tab in your browser. While this does make it more simple, sometimes we do have to resort to the more simple things of just actually having a real tab. Another link that I use when running my games is the map of Faerun. So this is a, just for reference, here are the links to these tools that I am using if you want to reference these yourself. So the one that is up right now is the Forgotten Maps web app. So we're just going to make this called Faerun. And in here, you can go around, you can navigate the different towns and cities. You can see locations, notes and lore and stuff like that. And, you know, this will open up the tabs to the different Wikipedia sites and stuff like that. So since I run most of my games in the Forgotten Realms, this is an invaluable tool for me, you know, to say the least. Additionally, a site that I was using for a considerable amount of time was this. Which, if you don't know this site, that's okay. This is Kroby.GitHub's 5e quick reference. I've used this for so long, I could not even tell you. The beautiful thing about this is that it's super user-friendly. It has most of the information you need, like, at a quick glance. But if you need to see more specific details about, say, crawling, you can click this. Okay, that's a terrible example, because that's, like, just the rule. But let's just say you want to know the rules of jumping, okay? You can click long jump. And guess what? Here's all the rules for a long jump. If you want to see the rules for a high jump, you can see that. If you want to see the rules for movement, you can click that. Now, the problem that I've had with this particular version is that since the new D&D 5e rules refresh, this does not have those taken into account. Now, that's not a big deal, because on another great website called donjon.bin.sh, there is a 5.5e quick reference, which works almost identically. It has the same kind of, you know, click to it. It brings up, you know, more of the details, stuff like that. Unfortunately, Donjon is one of those websites that does not like to be loaded into a, you know, it doesn't like to be embedded. So I got very lucky tonight and I found this website. Let me close all those out. So this is D&D.Milobedzki. Yeah, Milobedzki.pl. This is essentially the same thing, but it has a slightly different the way that it like gives you the information is in these drop downs instead of having a pop-up window. I actually sort of like this a little bit more because you can have multiple things open at once. Now, the other really cool thing about this is down here at the bottom, there are optional rules and homebrew rules, but there's also the ability to switch from the 2014 rule set to the 2024 rule reset. So if you want the rules for 2024, you can switch to that. If you want them for the 2014, you can switch to that. There's not a ton of differences, but for like example, in 2020 or in 2014, if you just had the standard rules, using a potion like a, you know, is an object interaction, okay? But a lot of people made it a homebrew roll that it was a bonus action, myself included. So on here, they actually include that. If you click include homebrew rolls, right here is drink a potion. Normally, drinking it as an action will heal the full amount. Using a bonus action, you roll the die as prescribed. That's the rule that I came up with, and it's the rule that the community kind of came up with as well. Additionally, they have some optional rules, such as, where are we at? Shove Aside, which is a special melee action that lets you push a creature 5 feet. There is Disarm, if you want to, you know, disarm them of their weapon. There's Overrun and Tumble, which allows you to either make an acrobatics check or an athletics check to push through or roll through a hostile creature space. There is Mark, which allows you to mark a creature when you make a melee attack so that all opportunity attacks against them are made with advantage. And then there is the ability to climb onto a bigger creature, making an acrobatics or athletics check so that you can actually be on top of it and now have advantage on your attacks. You can turn those off and on. You can also switch to dark mode, which I have a different dark mode enabled. And then, yeah, like I said, you can also switch to 2024, which does have, you know, the new rules in it so that you don't have to worry about anything. Luckily, that website does work on this character sheet. I'm super happy that it does. I definitely plan on utilizing this when I run my games. So the thing is, once you get to this point, okay, so let's just say you have either gone through and you've opened up all the tabs you might need to have, anything you might want to have available to you. Let's just rename this real fast. We're going to go 5e quick ref. Cool. So let's just say you got everything you wanted it to be set up exactly how you want it. Now you want to save everything so that the next time you load this up, you don't have to do all of that again. And it's super easy to do that. You just go up here to where it says save loadout. When you do that, it'll create a JSON file. And now what we're going to do, just to show you that this is working, we are going to reload. You're going to see everything goes away. We're going to hit reset saved layout. Now this button clears the local cache, okay? So if I were to make changes, for example, if I were to load up this compendium, and let's just say, just so you can see, I were to change Smith's Dark Vision to True Sight, okay, out to 120 feet, okay? I'm not going to click save, but I'm going to refresh the screen. I'm going to reload my compendium. That change is still going to be there. But if I reload, reset the saved layout, and then load that same compendium, that information is now gone. Okay. So again, that's if you ever mess up, You do something wrong, you delete something, you mess something up, that kind of sets you right back to where you need to be. But if we need to load the same loadout, maybe you're prepping for your session and you're going to be using a different computer, wherever you're going, you can save your layout, put it onto a flash drive. It's a very small file. When you get there, pull up the site, click load layout. You're going to find the layout. You can rename it whatever you want. And when you load it, everything's going to pop up. The only thing that won't, and I will forewarn you about this, the only thing that will not show back up is PDFs. And the reason for that is because it is impossible to save all the data from a PDF into a JSON file. It's just not possible. You can save the URLs. None of that is going to ever be affected. You cannot maintain the data for a PDF or an image from layout to layout to layout. It's just not possible. It's too much data. So if you are wanting to utilize this with a PDF, like I said, maybe you're running, mini Dungeon Tome, throw that onto your flash drive whenever you go to whatever computer you're using. And when you're getting ready to run your session, you can load your layout. It's going to give you all of your websites, and then just load up your file. We go into here, pull up mini Dungeon Tome, and we're off to the races. Okay. Now, if you're like me, and maybe you plan on utilizing this on your iPad more than anywhere else, okay? Because I'm going to be real, my laptop, not the strongest thing in the world. It's just unfortunately not. But my iPad actually does pretty okay. Now I need to turn on my air server to show you this. Just because I want you guys to see a small feature that I added. So if, for example, you are running this on your iPad, now I will admit, it is not technically sized super appropriately for it, okay? Let's downsize that just so we're not getting... So this is the iPad. Now, I am using a browser called Orion. And one of the reasons why I use Orion is because you can actually zoom the page out and get a little bit of a cleaner presentation, in my opinion. But when I was looking at this, I realized there's a lot of screen real estate taken up by that UI bar. So I added a little feature right up here, which is a UI button. And if you tap that, it clears all of that other stuff out. So now I can go in here. Oh, you know what? This actually might be an old version. Hold on. Yeah, let me do something real fast. I just don't want you guys seeing some of my files. I just realized something that I can... Oh, no, I want the layout. There we go. This and there it is. We're going to save this to the device. Save files. All right. Sorry about that. There we go. All right. So we're going to go back into Orion. We're going to load up the page, pull up the UI. We're going to load the new layout, which should be somewhere in here. Is it on the iCloud drive? No, it shouldn't be. Hold on. I don't know where that's saved. Oh, it's because it didn't save, of course. All right. Go. Come on, damn it. This is a new browser I just started using, so like it does have some hiccups. All right, well, anyway, we should be able to open it to Chrome. I don't know if I have anything open in Chrome right now. No, I don't. I just don't like Chrome because I don't like the toolbar at the top, and I don't like how you can't zoom the page in and out on iOS. I'm gonna have to reset it, but I'll just show you. I'll just show you in here on Chrome for the time being. So we're gonna hit load layout. Now this is the same layout that I just exported from my computer. Okay, so we're gonna load this into here, and boom, there is everything. We can get rid of this UI, but first I'm gonna change my theme. So that's another big change that I did. We now have different themes for this. We have slate, which is sort of like a neutral gray. We have azure, which adds a bit of blue. Crimson, which has the red. Emerald, which if you like the green. Violet for purple. But if you like me, or if you like D&D's color theme, you can go obsidian and get black and red. Because, hey, who doesn't love black and red? Okay. But now we can get rid of this UI. We can go through. We can view all of our characters' information at a quick glance. In here, you can actually go in and move these tabs around. So if you want... one second. I think it's because I'm zoomed in. There we go. You can move these around as you need. You can also move around the characters on the left. Just drag and drop that stuff. Other than that, everything works exactly the same on your tablet. You should have no problem pulling that up on an iPad, on an Android tablet. Cell phone does work. I will admit, if this is not designed to be used on an iPhone or, you know, any mobile device, really, it does technically work. Okay. So here, let me, make sure that I have this in here. Got to do the same thing on here. Go into Dropbox and save that back to my, here we go. Save to device, save to files, save. All right. So we can go into here and click that, and you can see it does bring them up. We can get rid of the UI at the top if we need. Now, this is more for the quick information than anything else. Unfortunately, just due to the size, this is more designed to be used in a landscape view than it is, you know, for it to be in anything else. It's just not really meant to be used on a phone. So it doesn't mean that you can't use it. Like, you can still go in and you can still view the information. So like, if you just want to have this sitting off to the side, like right now it's sitting on my my charger, and you know, let's say I'm in the middle of let's say I'm in the middle of running my session and maybe I don't have, you know, a laptop fully available to me or something like that. I can have this pulled up on my phone, and if I need to know, you know, the cleric's spell save DC, I can, you know, look and see where Smith's row is, and I can look there. Again, unfortunately, it doesn't really work the best on the iPhone, but it's not impossible to use on there either. I just, you know, can't really recommend it. But other than that, if you're using this on a browser, you know, on a computer, a laptop, even on a tablet, you will get most of the functionality out of it. Again, this was designed to be used more with D&D Beyond as a means to access your characters' quick information, to have access to their character sheets so that you can go in and view information as you need it. Or if you're in my situation, sometimes just being able to explain something to them and having access to their character sheet to explain that. Even if you don't necessarily want to utilize this for having their character sheets, because maybe you don't care, but you want something to where you have some of that quick information just at hand. It's always good to know their AC at least, and it's always good to know their spell save, in my opinion. Ability scores is great to know. Passive perception's good. Senses is great. Let's be fair. Everyone who has dark vision will always remind you that they have dark vision. But I also love this just because you can have the various tabs open up inside of it, so that this way you don't have to have 1,000 tabs at the top. Because this is a very lightweight tool. That's actually one of the reasons why I designed it this way. Now, unfortunately, this still is going to eat up a shit ton of your RAM, okay? There's no way of getting around that, really, okay? So if I close out Chrome here, obviously Chrome's still technically running in the background. Yeah. Oh yeah, I also have multiple windows open with other things for Chrome in it. So I can't even fully say that it's all closed out. But it does run very light on the system. Things load up very quickly on it. You're able to access what you need. So it's not perfect. So like I said today, I sort of had to do a little bit of some bug fixing just because somebody reached out to me from the GM Philosophy channel who is using the tool, and they mentioned that some of their characters weren't showing up, so had to go in and add that other feature. But otherwise, it should work, and it should be, you know, hopefully something that you get use out of, and you know, maybe it becomes a part of your prep routine and maybe how you run your games, to where, you know, Kelp's DM screen might be on your screen for half the session. I don't know. You know, I'd like to think that more people will get use out of this than I will. But yeah, so that's it. That was the quick rundown. I mean, like I said, it's not perfect. Obviously, there are some things. You know, in here, it kind of explains some of the features. If you are jumping into this new and fresh, you can see, you know, how to reorder. Oh, actually, this, I need to change this. Reordering characters. I never changed this, the feature. Because yeah, that should just be reordering characters, and yeah, that should just be dragging the column. I thought I had changed that. Oh well, I must not have. Yeah, and you, like I said, you can always go down here and you can see the small little iterative changes. So like I said, tonight you can load multiple load multiple compendium or XML files at once. Additionally, there was an issue where this information, the subline, was not loading if you loaded multiple compendiums. So like there was an issue where if you would load like 3 characters, it would only give you the most recent characters like subline. Like if you loaded 3 separate compendiums with 3 separate characters, it would only give you the most recent one, which was really weird. I don't know why it did that, but I got that fixed. But I do recommend that if you are having to load up multiple compendiums, just load them all at once. That's a big takeaway, which is why I have that here, you know, do it at once. I might bold that. So yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about. I know this was a very short thing, about an hour long, but just wanted to give you folks some information about the app that I made. Something hopefully you get some use out of. I loved tinkering with this. This has been one of the greatest things I've done. Obviously, I'm not a coder. I use ChatGPT to do, you know, 99.9% of this. I have learned a lot in this. I do know more about coding now than I did. I know more about like formatting than I did. But I don't want to take credit for creating this. I was definitely the mind behind it, but I was not the mechanics behind it. So, and I also want to say thanks to, you know, all my friends and the folks that have helped me with this. Stacy was, you know, a big influence. She was offering me some really great suggestions over at the Discord. My buddy Jay, who's using this now to run his games. He's a big non D&D person. So that's he was a huge influence in helping me figure out some of the details I needed for non D&D stuff. And also tonight, big thanks to Admiral Archon to help me figure out the issue with the characters not loading. We actually thought that it was an issue with loading more than 5 characters, but I was able to load a campaign that had 10 and 7 of them loaded. So there is still some bugs to fix. Like I said, there are some small changes that I want to make, but you know, for right now, I'm very, very happy with it, and I hope folks get a good use out of it. So if you want to use this for your games, there is the link again, kelsdmscreen.netlify.app, or just go to kelscorner.com. It's the second link over there, and that'll take you right to here, and that'll always be the most updated version. And if you have any questions, you have comments, you have feedback, you know, bugs, whatever, jump over to my Discord, let me know, and I can help you out with it. I was literally in the middle of my Mutants and Mastermind game when Admiral reached out to me, and I was able to help him. In the middle of that, we were able to fix his issue in about 10 minutes. So there is that. But that's going to be it for me tonight, folks. Again, I know this was a super short stream. I don't usually do streams only an hour long. You know, I guess maybe the first 15 is like that. Oh, geez, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Stacy. But yeah, I'm gonna go head off and play some video games and relax for the night. And actually, I gotta go change laundry. That is something I need to do. I need to go change some laundry. So, I might be doing a stream tomorrow night. Just want to give you guys the heads up on that. Big might. Only because I know I've talked a little bit about this. But either tomorrow or Thursday, this might be coming in the mail. And if you don't know what this is the AYN Thor. It is a handheld Android gaming system. I know it looks exactly like a 3DS, and that's the idea. It's a dual screen. It's a dual screen clamshell gaming device. I have it on order. It finally got shipped. It's in Pittsburgh right now, so I might get it tomorrow. If I'm lucky, I might get it Thursday, which obviously there's the first 15. But Friday, I definitely should have it, and I will have that evening off, so I'm going to be tinkering with it. Hopefully I'll get some time to mess with it. And I might go live as I'm doing that to just, you know, kind of have fun and, you know, just talk about those things. So, but yeah, maybe join me tomorrow or Friday for that. But otherwise, join me Thursday for the next episode of the first 15, because we'll be playing Ashworld, El Hio, and Meganoid. So join me for that thanks for coming by and hanging out, folks. I do appreciate you always. So I will see you guys later. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday if I don't see you before. Bye.